Straight Talk with your host Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, Simply Straight Talk.
Hello, it's me.
Hush it. Just hush it, you. I just pulled up. Where are you? You told me that you was waiting outside, family.
I see you. It was too hot in the parking lot, so I just walked over here to the shade.
Ugh, okay. We'll put some pep in your step, mister.
All right, in the words of Mystical, here I go, the man right here. So what's going on with you?
Same old thing. Always on my grind, trying to take my life to the next level, eating healthy and all that good jazz. What about you? What crazy women have you been messing with?
First, I have been on my grind and in the gym 5 days a week.
All right, look at you. Well, I must admit, you might have lost like a millimeter from your face cheeks.
Hardy har, so you got jokes.
I'm just joking, man. Look at you. I can tell you've been hitting the gym. Go you, man.
Secondly, I have not had any woman drama. Now, our friend Melissa, that's the drama queen. Did she tell you that she slapped me 2 weeks ago? For no reason at all.
Are you talking about the day you were sleeping on her brand new couch, the beige couch that she purchased the day before? Not to mention you had your shoes on. Please. I would have slapped your ass so hard that you went through the couch.
You know what? I can't with you. You're missing the point.
You meant to say can't, right? As in C-A-N-T?
That's what I said.
Never mind. Oh my God, just never mind. You know what? I wish she would have slapped the bad English out of your mouth.
Anyway, ain't nothing be wrong with how I talk.
Okay. If you say so. I need to start recording these conversations for Melissa, I swear.
Listen. I have a real question for you.
Go ahead. I cannot wait to hear this one. Hold on. Let me record this on my phone for comedy's purpose.
Anyway, just listen. Do you think a person can fake loving someone? Now, before you answer, Keisha and I had an argument about stuff her ex said that she brings up to me way too much. So I'm wondering, is it fake love, or are women just good at fake loving men?
Okay, as you say, first, we are not going to make this a woman doing men wrong conversation, okay? So, let's rephrase the question this way, shall we? Is it possible that a person would fake love another person? Because you hate it when women place all men in one category, right?
Okay, you're right. We're gonna roll with it your way.
Okay, well now to answer your question, it depends, to be honest. If you're referring to act of lovemaking, or are you talking about emotionally? Because, friend, those are two very different things, even though many people do not seem to realize that.
Well, you know what? When you put it that way, I guess the question needs a little more thought on my part.
I mean, look, it's not a crazy question, because it does make you wonder how long a person can pretend they have feelings before they actually begin to feel something about that person. You know what I mean?
See, another good point. I should have just had you talk to Keisha.
You crazy? Hell no. I cannot stand her. Now, if somebody needs a good slapping, oh, she is the one.
I am starting to wonder, who do you and Melissa like at all besides our little group?
Who do I like? That's an easy question to answer, Reggie. Whoever I decide to damn well like.
Did the two of you rehearse this stuff?
Ugh, just get out the car before I add you to my don't like get slapped list.
How can you be so positive and then be so mean?
Ugh, get out now.
Welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show with your host, Reggie Maddox. And today, we got some real talk on this thing called life just for you. Y'all know what we about to do. Let's start the show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show. Man, I appreciate y'all checking in. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. We have done over 100 episodes. I need to get the final number. I know it's over 100 episodes. thank you everybody for tuning in, checking in every Friday. I hope y'all enjoying the content. The downloads and the numbers keep growing. I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. So today we're going to talk about love, and we're going to ask a question. And the question is, can love be faked? Now, a lot of people really do believe that you can fake love. And people say, they dealt with it. I met somebody and they faked like they was loving me. They faked like they cared about me. So we're going to talk about that today, because that may not necessarily be the case. So we want to talk about that, and we're going to kind of dig into it, but we also want to kind of give a little explanation. Then we want to get into some reasons why a person may fake what they're doing. Now, we can call it love, we can call it something else, but we're going to talk about all that because that's very important. Listen, everybody wants to fall in love and have somebody to fall in love with them. We all want that. You know what I'm saying? That's like one of the ultimate things in life. You may not feel it today, but at one point you probably did feel it. Anyone who has ever been in love knows that falling in love with someone new, it can be a very exciting and like a magical feeling. I mean, it's just something in the world that you want. Now, what really sends the feeling of love over the top of the mountain is when that special someone tells you that they want to be with you too. It's something so precious and rare that you don't hear it that often. And I'm talking about when it's sincere now. When it's sincere. You don't hear it when it's sincere that often. And many people, they feel like they would do anything to keep this person in their life. Real love is a powerful emotion. It makes you feel like you can walk on the moon without a spacesuit for the person you love. After all, Teddy Pendergrass told the truth in his song when he said, "It feels good loving somebody and somebody loves you back." I'm talking about a 50-50 love. Now, that's from my old school folks. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But what happens when the love you think you really have isn't love? What if the person you feel so strongly for doesn't actually feel the same way about you? And what if you get to the point where you feel like you're sacrificing it all for the wrong one, the wrong person? Now, these are questions we ask. You can be in love, but sometimes their behavior or their actions or their words are going to make you ask yourself one of those questions about it. You're going to start to question the relationship and the person. See, love is not just a deep and complex emotion. It is an immensely powerful emotion, and it can alter a person dramatically when they've been abused. Often people mistake, the attraction they have for somebody for love. We do. We get attracted to somebody, we get these fantasies, we get asphyxiated about them. We create this whole illusion about who they are. And it sort of causes a person to give their love to someone who hasn't even proven themselves worthy to have your love. And oftentimes they're not even really willing to commit to you. But see, what matters the most is that you know who is worthy as far as letting into your heart and who's not, who really loves you and who's just pretending. Now, with that being said, I want to ask you two specific questions. Okay? Two specific questions. First, can someone pretend to be in love with someone without developing some feelings or becoming attracted to that person in some manner? Now, I think that's a fair question. Now, we may not like what they're doing, but it is a fair question. Because can you really be with somebody and not develop some feelings or find some qualities or traits that kind of make you kind of have some feelings for them? Because if you don't, you got to be a cold-hearted person. Second question, would you say a person is really faking their intentions, or are they actually faking love? See, that's why I said in the beginning, some people say like, yeah, this person fake love, they fake love. But were they faking the act of love, or were they faking their intentions? See, that's something we got to realize, because even though you may feel like you love a person, you ultimately are going to have some intentions centered around that person, around that feeling. So that's what we kind of want to separate during this show. We want to kind of get to the point where we understand a person's intentions versus their emotion, which we're going to talk about love. We want to understand the two, because I think some people are confused about how they, define somebody faking love. Now, before we really get into these questions, I really want you to think about what your answer would be. I want you to think about what would your answer be to those two questions. And are you pulling from personal experience and observations from other people? So which one is it? Are you pulling from your personal experience? Are you pulling from what you've seen from other people? You know what I'm saying? How are you getting that information? Because I have seen men and women pursue someone with multiple objectives, but none of them were to establish a relationship with the hopes of building a lifelong relationship with someone special. They had completely different objectives. So that's why we want to talk about that today. And that's why when we get to the point where we're really answering those questions, you have to be honest with yourself about how are you answering that question? Where are you getting your answer from? Now, of course, everybody's going to have like a little different answer, but maybe some similarities. But how are you coming up with your answer? How are you coming up to your conclusion? Is it from your personal experience or what you've seen from other people? Or are you pulling from both? Have you experienced something that you felt was fake love or fake a person had fake intentions? And are you pulling from what you've seen maybe a friend do or maybe something a friend went through? How are you getting all this information together? Because that's also going to affect how you see relationships when it comes to someone saying that love is fake. It's also going to come across how you see love. Maybe how some guy approaches you or some things he says, or maybe how a woman approaches you or some things she says, their behavior. This can kind of help determine why you may not trust some people, why you may not trust some situations, but we definitely want to get deeper into this question. Now, one thing, that we got to understand is, to be honest, men and women are both equally deceitful in their actions, Men and women. I know sometimes we always hear men, but it's men and women. We're going to call them both out, We calling out men and we calling out women. So there is no case of men being worse than women or women being worse than men. We calling both genders out. Now, regardless of your gender, deceiving someone at any level is wrong. But here are some of the most common reasons I feel a person may fake their actions or behavior with someone. So this is kind of get into where we get to answering those two questions I told you about. Now, the first reason I think a person may fake their intentions, or what you may say fake in love, is they see potential. But unfortunately, they don't see potential as this could be somebody I can build something with. They recognize that that person has a good career, they're financially stable, or they have opportunities that are visible on the table and they want a piece of the pie without any real commitment. So they will say whatever they feel that person needs to hear to share it with them for their own purposes. They're going to share whatever that person needs to hear. They're going to tell them whatever they need to hear, but it's for the hopes that they're going to be able to get a piece of what that person has, or that person is going to elevate them to a level. So their intentions are not to fall in love. Their intentions are not to be in a relationship. Their intentions are to get something from that person. They're trying to get something that's going to push them up to another level. The next reason I think this is probably one of the most common, but sex. Women and men will play emotional games just to have intercourse with someone that they are physically attracted to. It could be the end of the night. It could just be that they're lonely. They haven't dated anybody. So they'll say whatever they feel that person needs to hear. They will feed you every compliment. They will listen to every bad boyfriend and girlfriend story, or where you've been hurt. And you know what they do? They put it on the remix. They remix it, okay, as them being the new and improved option. And they replay it back to you. And this is strictly a play on your emotions and a person's desires for a relationship. They're going to play on that. When a person know you got a desire to be in a relationship, they hear your emotional hurt. They're going to play on that. And their only interest is to add you as a notch on their belt or to check you off their list. But that's primarily what it is when it comes to sex. They're going to tell you whatever you feel like, is going to make you feel better. They're going to tell you whatever sounds good at the moment. And like I said, they're going to take everything that you tell them and they're going to put it on a remix tape and play it right back to you with them being the better option, them being the better choice. And they're going to sound good, but the truth is they're not in it for you. They're just in it for the sex. And that's the truth. That's some person's intent. And we all know that. We know that already. But I got to put it on the list because it's a legitimate thing. Next is temporary convenience. Now, I have seen men and women do this. I have seen my friends do this, male and female. I have seen them do this. But people who have sort of given up or they feel they can't dig themselves out of their current or past circumstances, they will insinuate that they want to get to know you or be in a relationship with you, hoping that you are going to feel guilty or sentimental enough to allow them to either move in with you or help pay some of their bills or help them with their schooling or transportation or other areas of their life. But the closer they get to achieving their objective, the more distant and the more confrontational they're going to become, because that's when they're preparing to make their exit as you have served your purpose. You were a temporary convenience. That's it. That's all you were. You were a temporary convenience. And that's why I get to the point to where I say when people say, well, you know what? He was faking like he loved me or she was faking like she loved me. Really? Were they faking love? Or were they just faking their intentions? Because it wasn't love from the get-go. So they wasn't faking loving you. They were faking their intentions. They gave you the impression that their intention was to be with you, but their intention was to gain something personal from you, to make you a temporary convenience, or they just wanted sex, or they just simply wanted, they saw potential in you for some opportunity that was going to benefit them. So to me, it's not all about a person faking love, because if a person loves you, they're not going to fake it. Okay? They're not going to fake it. A person will fake their intentions. Now, that's what I'm saying now. I know some people may disagree, but I just want you to think about it, because you got to look past the emotional aspect of it right now. Because if they loved you, okay, if they really loved you, it's not about what you got. It's not about what you can do. It's about building something together. But if they are only in it with you because they have the intention of obtaining something, they're going to fake their intentions. And in order to fake their intentions with you, they have to fake what they want from you. They're going to give you a false sense of their intentions. They're going to tell you, my intentions is I want to be in a monogamous relationship. I want to start a family. I want to buy a home. I want to build with a woman. I want us to be this power couple. I want us to do all these things. And the truth is, that's not even what they want. That's not even what they want. It's not even close. But what they do is they use that as a way to manipulate you. They use that as a way to get you thinking that their intentions are one thing when truly their intentions are something else. I've had it done to me. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that I've never met a woman that didn't, lead me on with the intention that she wanted to be with me. But at some point, you live and you learn. You find out. The truth is, her intent was to get what she can get from me and move on. It happens. It happens. It wasn't love. She didn't fake love for me. She faked her intentions. That's what she did. She faked her intentions. Now, when we come back, because we're going to take a little bit of break, we're going to look at some signs for reading a person that's faking their intentions. Or if you still want to call it faking love, well, you can call it faking love. But whatever it is, they're faking it. And when we come back, we're going to get into some signs that'll kind of help you recognize why these people are faking it and what you can do to block it. All right, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Simply Straight Talk.
RM Viaging is a company based on life's journey and sharing life lessons with the world in the form of laughter and reflection, inspiring people to go after their dreams and not giving up on life. RM Viaging creates inspirational music and motivational speeches designed to motivate all age groups. Visit our website at www.rmviaging.com to hear samples of our music. You will also find motivational articles on our blog page titled New Life, New Mind blog. We also have a weekly podcast hosted by Reggie called Simply Straight Talk, all on our website at www.rmviaging.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the second half of the Simply Straight Talk show. Listen, today we asking the question, can love be faked? Now, in the first part of the show, when we talked about love being faked, one of the things I said is, I believe that a person is really faking their intentions, because how can they fake love when they never had love for you? Now, another question we asked in the early part of the show was the fact that, can somebody be with somebody for a period of time and they may be faking their intentions, or if you want to call it faking love, they may be faking love. Will they eventually develop some emotions? Will they eventually develop some type of concern, care, attachment, or light for that person? I think they will. Is it enough to convert that person into being in love with you? Now, that's a whole nother story, because I believe that a person will fake their intentions with you in order to get what they want. So it's not about love. Love is not even a part of the equation. Now, they may grow to like you and then kind of, start to feel something for you. There have been some cases to where people say like, the person really wasn't in love with me in the beginning, but eventually they kind of grew to it. So it's like I said, could have been that person saw potential. They saw you was going to be wealthy. They saw you had a good career. They saw that you was going to be successful, and they just didn't want to let you go. So they are just holding on to see how it turns out. And then when it turns out good, oh, I love you. You a millionaire now. I love you, but that's what we're talking about today. So now I want to look at some signs regarding a person faking it. Now, one thing that I'm kind of pulling from my own experience here. I'm pulling from things that I have seen. But one thing that I have noticed is a person that's faking it is they are emotionally distant. And I'm saying they're distant emotionally when it comes to expressing themselves. But they don't mind intimacy now. They don't mind the intimacy part of it. But they really don't express what they really feel. You're not getting the soul of their emotions. And that is often because they are just self-gratifying and they're emotionless. even when it comes to intimacy, is nothing passionate. It's nothing sensual. It is pretty much just, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like they're getting something out of it. And they often get more satisfaction than you. They really don't get too deep into personal information about themselves or their daily activities or their functions. If they're having something with, that has a lot of their friends and family present, they don't really want to discuss it. There's always some reason you can't go, or they don't want to go, or they just don't tell you about it and they got to do something else. But they don't want to create any emotional connections, okay? They don't want to create it. So they are emotionally distant from you, and they're going to build up a wall that they're going to shout stuff over the wall to you so you feel connected to them, but they're never going to put you on the other side of that wall to where you have full access, because that's just who they are. Next, a lack of interest or concerns for your well-being. Now, in this situation, they are really not interested, and they have no desire to expend any energy like trying to cheer you up, console you when you're feeling defeated. They're not trying to support or encourage you in your professional or personal growth. If they do, it's done with as little effort as possible, because they are really not trying to connect with your family. They're not trying to connect with your career. When you start mentioning stuff about doing things or tying you together, they want to be distant from that. They want to be kind of distant from your family. They don't want that connection. They don't have an interest. There is no real true interest in how you're doing. Now, if you get sick, yeah, they may do little kind things, to kind of help you out a little bit, to kind of keep you going along the way. If you hurt, they may do little things, but you're going to notice that they get frustrated really easy because that wasn't a part of their plan. And if you do, hopefully, God forbid, not get something that's a little more terminal, they're probably going to be out the door unless they know you got a will. So you have to be mindful of that. People who are not interested or show a lack of concern for your well-being, mentally, emotionally, that's a huge red flag. Next, manipulation. Now, this form of manipulation is not about controlling your every move, but it's to create a sense of confidence in them and a lack of confidence in anyone else that will expose them for who they truly are. Anybody that's going to bring to reality who they truly are to you, they want you to feel so confident in them. They want you to believe in them that you're going to ignore and disregard or distance yourself from anybody. So they're not going to do it. They're not going to tell you, don't hang around this person. You can't go see them no more. They're going to create that barrier that you just feel that they are so for you, that everybody else is against you, that you build that wall yourself from the people who really care about you. And it is a strong and dangerous form of manipulation, because in their mind, it's team me, but they are telling you that it's team us. And often they will make negative comments about people close to you to put the little seeds of doubt in your mind, or, attempt from revealing too much about them to others. They don't want that. They don't want you. They want like a little privacy thing. We got to keep our business with us. Don't tell nobody what I do. Don't tell nobody where I work. And when people go out, that's kind of like the common question people ask. So what does your boyfriend do? What does your wife do? What does your husband do? People ask those questions. When you don't say that. People just being nosy. You got to be mindful of that. You got to be mindful. So they're trying to manipulate you to where you make poor decisions, because they don't ever want you to be able to say, well, you told me not to hang around them. They want you to make the decision. They want you to distance themselves. That way, when everything comes out, you're sitting there like, well, he never told me not to talk to y'all. She never told me not to talk to y'all. I just don't like the way y'all was doing. But they was really filling your head with negative stuff to manipulate the situation. Next, no obligations. Now, this is a big one. Now, when I say no obligations, I'm referring to anything that ties the two of you together as a couple, especially if it's financial. For instance, they don't want to be tied to no car, no joint car payments, no houses, no apartments, no loans, nothing. Now, they will put their name on a bill, their name, if it's in their name. Now, think about it now. Let me give you an example. Regina Hall. Call me, girl. Now, listen. Let's say Regina Hall and I were dating, and she wanted to live together. But I would have the place in my name, and she would get some of the bills in her name, one or two of the bills in her name. Now, the advantage here is when she's ready to leave, all she has to do is make a few phone calls to have things switched off or changed to another address. That's all she has to do, because she's not attached to the lease or the mortgage. So she don't have to worry about, well, there's a year left on the lease, or 6 months, or 12 months. All she got to do is call the cable, the phone, the gas, electric, say, listen, turn this off on this date, or transfer to this address. It's in her name. Now, you can help pay it, because online, you can just go online and pay it. But she can transfer everything and not be attached to you. So you get the illusion that you two are attached and you're doing it together. You're saying, well, yeah, I got the place for us, and you know what I'm saying? She takes care of the light bill and the water bill, but it's in her name. It's not in both of y'all names. It's just in her name. So if Regina Hall decides she's ready to dip, she got what she wants, she can just bounce. I'm the one stuck with the lease and mortgage. We're not tied together. We're not. Now, you may as well say that she has no real rights in the house. That's what somebody's going to say. Well, she has no real rights in the home. This is just a little side note. But keep in mind, I know this for a fact in Georgia, that if someone stays for you after 30 days, legally, you have to have them legally evicted, in which she wouldn't care because it was never her intent to build a home with me in the first place. Regina Hall could just bounce and I would be stuck. That's the fact of it. That's how it is. And I think people don't realize that. It's like a person who's faking it, they don't want any real obligations. They don't want any real attachments to you. They're just doing what they need to do to get by. Now, here's one of the big ones. And I think this is something that a lot of us overlook because we're so caught up in the moment. How does that person treat you when you're alone? You're sitting on the couch in the house watching Netflix or Hulu, or you're laying there in the bed, or you're in the bathroom. And how do they treat you when you're in that environment, when you're sitting in the car and you're driving? Are they lovey-dovey? Are they saying the same things they say to you then when they're out sitting at lunch with your friends, or you're out at some gathering, you're out in public? If they're very affectionate and being all romantic and just saying sweet things, as you're together when you're alone, are you getting those same things when you're out in public? Are they looking at you the same way? Do you still get that girlfriend, wife, husband vibe when you're out in public as you do when you're at home? Do you still feel like you are the one in their life when you're out in public? You need to ask yourself that, because some people are really good, like, oh yeah, at home they lovey-dovey, but when they get out in public, babe, I'm really not a public display of affection type person. I don't really like doing all that. And you ain't got to be mouthing a person down. You know what I'm saying? But if they don't want to hold hands, or if they don't want to walk side by side, or when you play with them, they kind of move to the side, like, don't touch me too much. Don't lean in too much. Let's keep the friend vibe out here in public. Let's save all that for home. That's suspect as you know what. But listen, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with the final thoughts of today's show. Can love be fake?
We'll be right back, so keep it locked here with your favorite radio talk show.
Hey, this your man Reggie here. Are you looking for some fresh new music? Are you looking for an artist that's got that positive vibe and that positive flow, that knows how to flow lyrically? then man, you need to check out Tone G Music with songs like Buzzin', Good Deeds, and Pick Up the Phone. Now these songs are available on Apple Music and other digital platforms. Tone G brings that positive vibe in everything he does. And the music he brings with the reggae style and that smooth lyrical flow, oh, you know what to do. Y'all check out Tone G Music.
Simply Straight Talk. It's that time. Reggie is about to break this conversation down.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the show. We are now into the final thoughts of today's show. Today our topic was, can love be faked? Can love be faked? Now, after listening to today's show, I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Tell me, do you agree with the things I said? Do you agree with some of the solutions? Have you experienced it? And how do you think your experience would tie into some of the discussions that we had today? Now, I do not believe that love can be faked, but instead, I feel people think it's okay to fake their intentions, either for convenience, sex, or opportunities. Now, we all have the ability to determine when a person is genuine in love or their intentions, but we allow ourselves to become blind to the warning signs, which could be a person's behavior, their actions, their words, all because we have allowed ourselves to become delusional regarding reality versus our fantasy dream of how we want things to be in our life, how we want this person to be, what we want this person to do, how that man or woman should act, thinking that they will change when everything about them says, my intentions for you in my life are not what you think. Oftentimes, people show us, even tell us who they really are and what their intentions are. But we create this movie in our mind. It's a fantasy movie of how we're going to change that person, how we're going to do things to make this person see our point of view, make them feel the way we want them to feel, be more romantic, be more sentimental, be my best friend, my lover, my homie lover friend. You know, we replay and create this movie that we just play over the truth. And we end up not being deceived by them, but we are deceiving ourselves because emotionally and physically with our eyes, we have blinded ourselves to what they are actually telling us, what they are actually showing us. At some point, you have to step back and just really take a look at how a person acts, how they behave, what they say, what they do in private, in public, on the phone, in text messages. You know, people tell you who they are. You know, you can only fake things about yourself for so long before it's ultimately going to show. So let's take care of ourselves. Let's remember that we have to take care of ourselves. Let's stop the movie sometimes and step out of the theater of our mind and come into the reality of the truth. It's going to save us, and me and you, a lot of heartache, a lot of disappointment, a lot of wasted and expended resources, because you and I both deserve better, and we don't deserve to be spending our lives and our time wasted playing games. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Simply Straight Talk Show. This is your host, Reggie Maddox. Also, a big shout out to Angelique and Toon Lover. You guys know them. They also are the ones that do the voiceovers. Thank you to my man Z-Lot, who does the post editing for these podcasts to get them sounding so great. I will see you next week, and thank you all for listening. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Simply Straight Talk podcast. Make sure you visit our website at rmviagem.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Libsyn, SoundCloud, or Spotify, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that will help us out too. Thank you, and see you next week.